자, 11월 25일 금요일 모닝 헤드라인스 뉴스캐스터 폴과 함께 시작합니다.
A substantial majority of policymakers at the US Federal Reserve have reportedly agreed it would soon be appropriate to slow the pace of interest rate hikes.
미국 연방준비제도 위원회 과반을 넘는 다수가 기준금리 인상 속도를 조만간 늦추는 게 적절할 거라는 의견을 모은 것으로 알려졌습니다.
The European Parliament has designated Russia as state sponsor of terrorism over its actions in Ukraine, a first for the EU as a whole, despite being largely symbolic.
유럽연합 의회는 러시아가 우크라이나를 침공해 저지른 행위를 근거로 러시아를 테러 지원국으로 지정했습니다. 이번 지정은 유럽연합 전체로서는 첫 번째 사례지만 사실상 상징적인 조치라는 분석입니다.
The group of 7 nations and the EU are reportedly preparing to announce a price cap on Russian oil and are eyeing a price of $65 to $70 per barrel, well above Russian production costs.
주요 7개국 G7과 유럽연합이 러시아산 원유 가격 상한선을 논의하면서 러시아 생산가보다 훨씬 높은 배럴당 65에서 $70 수준을 고려 중인 것으로 알려졌습니다.
Scotland has been blocked from unilaterally holding a referendum next October on whether to secede from the UK by Britain's Supreme Court.
스코틀랜드가 내년 10월 영국에서 독립할 것인지를 결정하는 국민투표를 단독으로 실시하는 것에 대해 영국 대법원이 제동을 걸었습니다.
A gigantic goldfish weighing a staggering 30 kilograms has been caught in a lake in France after it was placed there about 20 years ago.
무게가 무려 30kg이나 나가는 초대형 금붕어가 프랑스의 한 호수에서 잡혔습니다. 이 금붕어는 20년 전 해당 호수에 방류됐던 개체입니다. And those have been today's morning headlines. Morning headline expressions. From the headlines today, let's have a look at the key expressions. A substantial majority. What was that?
Yes, majority and minority. If you have a majority, it's going to be over half, over 50%. If you have a substantial majority, it's not just going to be 51% or 52%. It's going to be quite a large majority. So maybe 70 or 80% would be a substantial majority.
네, majority is over half. 과반이 majority인데 거기 앞에 substantial, 아주 많다라는 표현이 들어가서 정말 과반을 훨씬 넘는 아주 많은 이런 느낌이죠. 그래서 과반을 넘는 다수의 이 Fed 위원들이 아마 이번에는 rate hike를 조금 덜 예전보다 덜 aggressive하게 하지 않을까 이런 추측이었어요. 그다음에 state sponsor는 뭐였죠?
A state sponsor is a country that supports something. In this case, we're talking about the state sponsor of terrorism, which has been designated by the EU Parliament, Russia. So if we sponsor something, we support it. In the same way that some TV or radio programs are sponsored by a brand.
Yeah.
I hope one day we can be sponsored by Pengsu's tuna-flavored bungeopang.
Yeah, so the word state in many cases refers to country.
Exactly, yes.
Except for the United States of America.
Yeah, within a country we can have states, meaning different provinces or regions, but certainly when we talk about a state, we're referring to a nation state, meaning a country.
대부분 이제 state는 국가를 의미해요. 그렇지만 아닐 때도 있습니다. 미국에서 state는 주를 말하죠. 근데 여기서 state sponsor의 state는 나라입니다. 그래서 지원하는 나라. 지원국이 되겠고요. To eye something이라는 동사가 있었습니다.
It literally means to look at it, but it's often because you either want it or you're considering it. In this case, it's about the EU and the G7 considering what price to put on their price cap for oil against Russia. They're eyeing $65 to $70 per barrel. They haven't decided yet, but that's what they're thinking of or looking for.
눈이라는 명사가 여기서는 동사로 쓰인 거예요. 그래서 eye something, 그러면 눈여겨보다가 될 수도 있고 아니면 이 경우에는 이렇게 고려하다의 의미로도 해석할 수 있습니다. The next one was to unilaterally do something.
If we do something unilaterally, we do it by ourselves. Oh my goodness, when I first went to university, when I moved away from home, suddenly I could make every decision unilaterally. My parents had no choice what I could eat or where I could go or how often or how little I washed my bedding.
The freedom, of course.
The freedom, it comes with many dangers.
And a lot of responsibility, of course. Unilaterally라는 것은 일방적으로 뭔가 하는 거죠. 그래서 making a decision unilaterally라고 하면은 이제 일방적으로 혼자 알아서 결정하는 거라고 보시면 되겠고요. Of course, Scotland was trying to go ahead with this vote next October unilaterally, but the UK's court says, no, you can't do that.
No.
We'll have to see what happens.
Exactly.
The next one was staggering.
Yes, something that is hard to believe, that shocks us or stuns us. If you think back to 1940s and 50s melodramas from Hollywood, when the heroine got some bad news, she would sigh dramatically, and she would take 3 steps back, staggering back because she was so upset.
Exactly. So it comes from that whole concept of stepping back a little bit because
Yes.
you're so surprised or shocked. Staggering. 아주 놀라울 정도로 뭔가 믿기 힘들 때 쓰는 표현이에요. Well, this gigantic fish that looks like a goldfish and has a name called Carrot.
She's a cutie.
Is she?
Yes, I think she's lovely.
Oh, well, Paul thinks she's cute. I think she's a little bit scary looking. Anyway,
She doesn't eat people, it's fine.
she weighs a staggering 30 kilograms. She's massive, very big.
And very, very beautiful.
Yes, alright. 자, 이렇게 해서 헤드라인에 나온 표현들 리뷰해봤습니다. 모닝 헤드라인 익스프레션스는 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣게 하실 수 있습니다.